If I wanted to go from 0 to $1 million in 12 months, here's what I do. I made my first $1 million at 27 years old, and now just 4 years later, I've made over $111 million. But if I had to do it all again, this is the exact 8-step playbook I'd follow. Starting with step 1 in your first month of your millionaire journey, your job will be to learn a high income skill. Now there's a lot of high income skills you can learn, but I want to lay out my top 5 for you to give you some direction. Number 1 is sales. I don't care what anyone tells you, nothing is more vital or important to a business than sales. If you learn sales, you will never be hungry a day in your life and you will always have opportunity. One of the best ways to learn sales is by signing up to do door-to-door sales. It's 100% commission based, so no company will turn you down even if you're brand new. Back in 2017, I knocked over 27,000 plus doors over a 9-month period in Alabama selling security alarms. I was hot and sweaty. We would be out 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I even had a gun and a knife pulled on me at one point, and it was one of the most emotionally taxing jobs I've ever done. But by the end of it, I could sell ice to an Eskimo, and it's one of the key reasons I've been able to generate not just $1 million, but over $111 million in my companies over the last 6 years. Number 2 is media buying. You'd be shocked by how many business owners don't know how to run a simple Facebook ad or an Instagram ad. One of the main reasons I love media buying so much is you can charge huge retainers for very little work. Number 3 is technical support. There are a lot of great businesses that are great at sales and marketing, but have no idea how to connect all the tech from the website to emails to CRMs. If you can learn technical skills around platforms that businesses use, like ClickFunnels for websites, Go High Level for CRMs, ActiveCampaign for emails, or Phone Burner for dialing, you will be an invaluable asset to any team. Number 4, operations manager. What you'll find is most companies have a CEO who is either a visionary or an operator. If you can find the CEOs who are visionaries, this will be the perfect place for you to plug in. The operations manager will make sure any of the projects the CEO needs done will be pushed forward and completed on time. This particular skill set will take good management skills and understanding different project management softwares. And number 5, copywriting. Every company needs emails, sales pages, and social media posts to go up. If you can learn how to convince people to take actions with the written word, you will always have opportunities for work. I learned my first high income skill from my mentor, David Fry. He convinced me to drop out of college and I'd work out of his home office with him, and he taught me copywriting, media buying, project management, and tech application. Later on, I would also do door-to-door sales, so I became very well-rounded and didn't just learn one high income skill, but 5. I truly believe this was a big part of the reason I was able to generate revenue so quickly. When you start, you have to spend all your time learning that skill. Even if you have a 9-to-5 job, then you have to start learning the skill after work from 5 to 9. It's not about how much money you think someone should pay you. It's all about the value that you can bring to the marketplace. If you're a cashier at a convenience store, don't be mad you aren't being paid much. Getting paid more is all about how much value you can bring. Now, before we move to step 2, I want to give you 3 places you can go to learn a high income skill. Number 1 is udemy.com. Udemy has courses on anything you can think of, ranging from a few dollars to a few thousand. This is my go-to site for beginners or people on a budget. Number 2 is Elite University. This platform has everything you need from accountability, training, and the software for your business for only $97 a month. Now, software for your business you have to pay for anyway, so this platform actually gives a training and curriculum absolutely free. You just pay for the software, about as good as it gets. And number 3 is Allison. This platform is actually 100% free. Now, I'm not usually a fan of 100% free stuff because people usually don't take it seriously enough. When you pay attention, but if you're in a tight spot and have zero cash, this is another great go-to. Which brings us to month 2 and step 2, learn, don't earn. Now, I believe you have to use your high income skills as much as possible. Now, because I was able to learn sales as one of my high income skills, I was able to make sales for my fitness program from the get-go and never had to do anything for free. But for the average viewer watching this, you may just not be good enough to do that yet. So you'll want to offer your work for free to anyone who may need it. This could be friends, your family, or anyone you're connected to on social media. It's not about how much you're going to be earning. You just want to focus on learning as much as possible. So here's how I would do it. First, make sure to get them the result as fast as possible. One of the metrics to customer satisfaction is speed to delivery. So the faster you can get the job done, the better. Second, make sure to do the work ahead of time. Nothing annoys me more than someone who messages me and says, "Tanner, can I edit videos for you?" You're not going to stand out at all, and you're wasting my time by even asking. I'd have to find the videos, send them to you, give you direction on how to edit them, and now it's not even worth my time. Instead, send over work you've already done for me, and if it's good, there's a very high chance I'll hire you. I promise you, any high-level business owner will not even give you a shot unless you send over the work ahead of time. They have too many people asking for jobs, and you just won't stand out. Third, once the task is completed, since it's free, ask for a testimonial. You can then start using these testimonials as proof your service is good and start making sales. Fourth, then make sure to ask for a referral. The easiest people to close are referrals because the trust factor is much higher coming from a friend versus a stranger. And finally, 8, learn from your work and collect feedback. Again, the main focus here is to learn and get better. If you get paid at the same time, awesome, but the goal has to be to learn as much as possible. Which brings us to month number 3 and step 3, which is to get your first client. Now, the first thing I got paid for was a fitness program from a guy named Gary. Now, Gary saw that I was really in good shape. He was following me on social media and he actually sent me a message asking if I could create a fitness program for him. So we got on a call together and I sold it to him for $2,000 and he said yes. Now, to be honest, I was super nervous and I think I botched most of the call, but that sale gave me all the confidence in the world that this thing was going to work. His initial program was for 4 months and he got really good results. So I was able to get him to commit to another 4 months. Now, make sure once you sign up a customer, you either have more things they can buy as add-ons like supplements or meal prep in this example, or you can upgrade them to something else on the back end. This increases what is called the lifetime value of the customer and is usually the driving force behind most of the biggest companies in the world today. And one of the benefits to starting to get paying clients is the people who pay more attention. If you're doing free work for someone, don't be surprised if they don't respond to you very quickly. But once someone is paying, they pay a whole lot more attention, and this allows you to get a faster feedback loop and then invest the profits back into your business to further acquire more customers. Which brings us to month number 4 and step 4, build your marketing pipeline, which there are 6 keys to lead generation. One of the reasons 80% of businesses die within 2 years is because nobody knows they even existed. You can't be a secret. You have to make sure that people know you exist. Now, the old way of doing this might have been to put up flyers, go door to door, do events, or get published in a local newspaper. Today, everything is online and you can create video sales letters, be on podcasts, run paid advertising, or do joint ventures. You don't even have to leave your home anymore to make money. Getting eyeballs to your offer is the most important, and in the beginning, you may not have very much money to spend, so try to find people who have the audience you want to get in front of them and do collaborations. You can't sell to an empty room, so you have to find ways to get in front of potential clients, or no matter how good your offer or product is, you have no shot of selling it. Make sure the audience you're trying to tap into has the type of person you feel you can create the most value for and who will easily pay. And that is the type of person you want to get in front of. Now, there's really only 6 ways to reach people. The first is content. So think of anything you're posting on social media. The goal is to use education-based marketing with anything we post to show the customer that we are an expert and we do know what we're talking about. Second is paid media. This is one of my favorite ways to build companies. Over a 6-year window, I've actually spent over $30+ million on ads for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I love paid because it's fast, but you can't afford to make as many mistakes, so be careful if you've never done this before. Third is partners. Now, these are going to be people you partner with to get in front of their audience, and in return, you give them a piece of the pie. Now, while this is a safer way to get eyeballs to the business, it can be time-consuming to find these partners, so be careful. Fourth is podcasts. This is another great way for you to get your message out there by guest speaking on podcasts, where they can ask you how you help people, what makes you different, and what do you offer. Fifth is organic outreach. While this option may be the least sexy of them all, it's free and doesn't depend on anyone else. I got some of my first paying clients just by messaging strangers on IG hashtags or inside Facebook groups. You have to do a lot more volume, but again, it's free and you can't really beat that. Sixth is shoutouts. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money, you can go to theme pages and pay them to tag you and post content about you. A theme page is something around a topic versus a person. So if we use fitness as an example, think of nutrition tips or sets and reps or vegan recipes, anything around a theme versus an individual where they are much more likely to allow you to pay them in return for a tag and a post. Now, once you're tagged, people will start following you and you can message them from there to buy your service or product. Which brings us to month number 5 and step 5, do consistent outreach. A big mistake beginners make is thinking they need to create their product or website or SOPs first. Wrong. What they need to be doing is making sales, and there's only one consistent way to do that for free, and that's outreach. You need to commit to sending out at least 100 messages a day to generate leads for your business. You can do this in Facebook groups, IG hashtags, TikTok, or anywhere else you have an existing audience. If you can send out 100 messages a day, that's over 3,000 a month, and I guarantee you will turn some of those conversations into sales. Now, once you have that, you can take that cash and reinvest it back into the business with paid advertising, getting more materials or products, or even making your first hire. If you want to see how to do this outreach, I actually created an entire training around this so you can see exactly what to say, how to say it, and how to close. Just find me on Instagram at tanner.chidester and message me outreach, and I'll send over the full training to you. Which brings us to month number 6 and step 6, mastering sales. Businesses only die when they stop making sales. It's not from having a bad service or a bad team or making mistakes. Yes, those are still bad, but if you can't make a sale, you are 100% without question going to go out of business. Commit to learning sales at all costs, no matter what it takes. Which brings us to months 7 through 11 and step number 7. hiring. Over the next 5 months, you're going to be hiring out 5 positions to buy back your time and start leveraging the business. The first of these will be fulfillment. As you make more sales, people get busy doing the thing they sold, and there comes a breaking point where they have to stop doing sales activities unless they hire someone to come in to do the fulfillment. Your job as a CEO is to always drive sales, and so you can never allow client fulfillment to pull you off of sales activities. A client fulfillment rep should onboard customers, deliver the service, and make sure any billing is set up and up to date. Really anything at all related to the client journey. Having someone do this is huge leverage so that you can get that time back and do more of the work that makes you more money, or reinvesting your time into learning skills that will make you more valuable. Which brings us to hire number 2 in month 8, a setter. Now, I had a client named Alex, and he was doing over $20,000 a month just from outreaching to prospects on social media. One day, he came to me and said he wasn't making the same amount of money anymore, and when I audited his business, he had stopped doing all the outreach. When I asked him why, he just said he got burned out and he'd been doing it for months. I thought, of course, that's going to happen. You just have to hire it out. For your business to survive, you always have to be doing marketing and outreach consistently, but you don't have to be the one doing it. Once you hire a setter, they can literally add as high as 8 hours back into your schedule per day to do other things. A rule of thumb is every time you start to have your entire day monopolized by a single task, you need to look to start hiring it out. The setter's job will be to make sure they send out at least 100 messages a day to potential prospects and respond to any and all messages that come inbound and schedule them into sales calls. Which brings us to hire number 3 and month 9, a coach or mentor. Now, I know someone's gonna say, "Ooh, Tanner, you're a coach, and why are you talking about this?" But the fastest way for you to go from point A to B is to ask someone who's been there before. In my first 2 years of business hiring no mentors, I made $2,000. In my next 6 years of business, I made over $111 million, with about $3 million of that going back into mentors. So my thought process on this is find someone doing specifically what you want to be doing and pay them for their expertise. Once you can get inside their community and can learn their frameworks and processes, it's infinitely easier to scale and build your company. And if you're looking for a place to start to find these individuals, just type in your specific problem in on YouTube and your industry, and the videos that pop up will be a great place for you to start looking. Which brings us to hire number 4 and month 10, hiring sales support. Now, the first sales rep I ever hired was my brother Gentry. He was coming from 0 sales experience, but I trusted him because he was family. Now, the way I trained him up was by giving him recorded calls he could listen to, a script for him to follow, and I'd also hop on calls with him so that if he made mistakes or missed a point, I could jump in. It took him about 3 months to get up to speed, but when he got there, I was relieved. At this point, you should have a setter to generate leads, a client fulfillment rep to deliver the service, and now a sales rep to handle all the sales calls. With just 3 people, you are now in a position where you can take time off or go on vacation and your business will still function 100% without you. Which brings us to hire number 5 in month 11, hiring a COO. This is the person that is going to come in and make sure everything is running smoothly from the meetings to the systems and handling projects. What this allows you to do is spend more of your time and energy on the creative aspects of the business, so you're not just bogged down in all the day-to-day. Operations are important, but it takes a very different mindset to be creative, and as a CEO, you can't expect anyone else to do that for you. This took me a long time to do because I was a control freak and super scared to let things go inside my business. I thought that I'd worked so hard to build it that I didn't want to risk anyone else messing it up. But if you don't learn to do this, you will always be the bottleneck in your business, and if you want to get to $1 million as fast as possible, you have to learn to work through people and give up some of the control. Which brings us to month number 12 and step 8, build your personal brand. This is something I regret not doing sooner. I was so heavily invested with paid media when I started because it worked so well that I got extremely lazy with my content and building my brand. Building a brand takes a lot of time, but it's the machine that can create insane amounts of wealth. The reason for that is the bigger your brand gets, the more sales you can make with organic traffic. And the more sales you can make with organic traffic, it's just more profit going back into your pockets. Now, don't start trying to go onto every single platform. If I could go back and tell my younger self what to do, I would tell them to go all in on YouTube. These videos last forever and continue to get views over time, while platforms like Facebook or IG, after about 3 days, don't get any engagement anymore. If you still want to post on these platforms, I just recommend taking your YouTube videos and cutting them up to save time and cost, while focusing on one will give you a bigger bang for your buck. By building your brand, you will build more trust from your audience, which will make it easier for them to buy more of your products and services. That is what I would do if I wanted to go from broke to millionaire. But if you want to learn how to implement my exact playbook I give to my clients, just click here.